Hello everyone and welcome to CadoinkStudios. I am Cadoink and this here is my application video for the CSL caster position. I am casting a CSL game today. This game is from a replay pack between Northwestern University and the University of Kansas, so KU. And we are on Shakuris Plateau, so spawning in the top right we have the yellow Zerg player playing for Northwestern University, Obsidian, and his opponent is, of course, Roachgelian. Roachgelian. I think it's Roachgelian. That sounds the coolest to me. And he is, of course, the orange Zerg player playing for University of Kansas. So for those of you who don't know about me, my name is Chris, and I go by Cadoink. I've been casting for probably about 8-9 months now. It's something I really enjoy doing. I am a college student. I'm going to be going into my sophomore year of Kansas State, which is part of the reason I picked this replay. This, of course, isn't Roachgelian isn't a Kansas State player. He's a University of Kansas player, which consequently is one of my rivals. So I thought it'd be fun to cast a KU game since they are the enemy. And Northwestern, I do have a friend who goes there, so that's why I picked this particular one. So anyway, we have Obsidian building a gateway at his ramp. Pretty usual thing to do. Actually, a lot of times we see Forge Fast expands in the PvZ matchup, but this is an older replay. I don't know when exactly this was played, this game particularly. But regardless, there's nothing wrong with building your gateway here and going for kind of a safer one base play and then getting your Nexus up later. There's no problem there at all. In fact, Obsidian could be going for a 4-gate, he could be going for many different plays, might be going for a 3-gate robo. We'll have to see what he decides to do. In the meantime, our KU player is building his spawning pool before his hatchery and then getting his hatchery up at around 15-16 supply. Also a very usual, normal play to do. And then getting his extractor up. This is one of the big things you want to be looking for when you're going into your opponent's base with your initial scout. So you want to see if the Zerg player is getting his gases up, or if, whatever the matchup, if your opponent is getting his gas up. This could indicate that he's going to be getting Zergling speed a little earlier. If he didn't have this, he would not be getting Zergling speed up. He could be going for some sort of roach play. Regardless, you know his mineral count will be a little lower and he will have gas so he can get upgrades and gas units and these sort of things. Same with the Protoss player. He's getting his second assimilator up, so this is kind of lending itself towards a higher tech play. He might be going for the 3-gate robo I spoke about earlier. Something along those lines that require gas, such as Immortals. We'll be getting up his sentries. He is getting a sentry right now, just to make sure he can wall off his ramp if some early Zergling run-bys come in and this Zealot can't deal with it, especially if there's a sort of Baneling bust coming. Another thing I really like by Obsidian is he's able to build this pylon kind of on the outskirts of his base. This does a few things. Now he's playing Zerg, so there isn't going to be any chance of like a cheesy building being built inside of his base. But this pylon here does give him vision down in this little area and almost on his ramp, not quite. So he can sometimes see if some Zerglings skirt by. And if Zerglings were to get up into the base, sometimes a Zerg player will send some to the side to morph some Banelings. And just having pylons and more vision of your base can prevent those sort of annoying things. So we do see the second gateway coming out for Obsidian. Hasn't really committed to anything specific yet. It looks like he wants to be putting down a Nexus. However, in the meantime, Roachgelian is sending out some Zerglings, so this could be dangerous. However, he didn't start Zergling speed till just now. So these Zerglings won't be as effective as they could have been, considering how early he got that gas up. But we'll have to see how the force fields go. Roachgelian poking forward and pulling back, Obsidian getting ready to cast force fields whenever he needs to. He can block off his ramp, he has enough sentries for that. And then he should be able to be fine at this point in time, especially since that Zergling speed isn't up. So this Nexus will go up, will be defended. However, Roach is sending some more Zerglings across the map and also taking a very fast third. Very common thing to do in the ZVP matchup, as you can kind of afford to take that, especially if you're being aggressive like our KU player is. In the meantime, Obsidian is doing some good things as well. He's getting a Forge up as well as another gateway. Ooh, but look at this, the Roach is coming in with some Zerglings, a nice force field splitting the Zergling army in half, but they might get in. Oh, another great force field, only letting one Zergling in, and he should now be able to deal with this as he only used two, now using a third. Excellent play by Obsidian, great force fields going down, preventing those Zerglings from doing a lot of damage. In fact, none of the sentries went down. 16 units. Yeah. One unit went down for Obsidian, but I do not believe that was a sentry. And so now he has a base. This is great for the Protoss player. He has his gas up as well, so he can be going for those higher tech units. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Robo Bay at some point in time, at least just to get the sentries. But one really interesting choice is he's getting that hallucination upgrade. A popular upgrade when you have a large sentry force. Sometimes you can scare your opponent in showing more colossi than you might have, these sort of things. But kind of the best use of it is just making a sentry with your hallucination, and then just flying into your Zerg base and getting valuable information from that. In the meantime, Roach is getting his hatchery turning into a lair, and he's also getting a Baneling nest up. So not going for that Roach play that we've seen very common in the PvZ matchup. The kind of Stefano DRG style that's been very, very popular, getting 3 base, hitting 75 drones, and then pushing out with a very quick 200-200 army of Roaches. And yes, we do see the Hallucinated Phoenix running into the base. He will be able to scout everything, 2 of them in fact. So this is one of the uses. Roach isn't really going to be surprised by this. He's not going to think it's Stargate play or anything like that. We see he's not responding by putting down an Evo chamber or getting extra queens up, anything like that. I would like to see an Evo chamber just for the upgrades, however, as he's kind of been behind this game in the upgrades. His Zergling speed coming out very, very late, and he doesn't have any other upgrades on the way, while his opponent is getting +1 attack, as well as getting that Twilight Council up just to make sure he can get Blink or Zelt Legs, whatever he decides to get, depending on the unit composition and the tech path he wants. We can see his robotics facility has finished. His first observer is going across the map to do some extra bit of scouting. Those phoenixes, those hallucinated phoenixes, don't last forever, so you do need a more permanent fix such as the observer. But I did see that Roach was getting an overseer. I don't know where it is at this time. Right there in the center of the base. So he might be able to see that observer and pick it off with a queen, which can be oh so annoying for Obsidian. In the meantime, our KU player is also getting quite a bit of Banelings up, as well as some Zerglings. Going to be sending his creep across the map. That creep spread is so important, not just for the speed, but for the vision, and he can get some really good engagements with the Banelings. The only thing I worry is Obsidian is going for a very sentry-heavy army, and with this push, and these narrow little areas such as this one right here, and this one right here, he could put off some really good force fields and keep those Banelings from getting into his army, and he could do damage to this hatchery, which will be very annoying. It's kind of interesting to see a Zerg player go for this hatchery. It's kind of a little bit more difficult to defend against a sentry-heavy army such as this one. As we can see, Obsidian is coming into the base, doing a lot of damage, and here comes the Zerglings at this time as well. The Banelings, a lot of force fields going down, but there is a little bit of a hole. Will the Banelings get through? Yes, they do, but oh, not before another force field goes down, and ooh, Banelings getting dangerously close to the sentries, but only picking off a Stalker. Obsidian is looking really, really strong at this point, poking back and forth, dealing with those Banelings with such minimal force field usage. I love this by Obsidian. Also using the Observer just to continue his vision. This one over to the left as well to make sure he sees when the Banelings are coming, knows when to react, even splitting up his army ever so slightly to pick off some drones as well as the hatchery. And the hatchery does, of course, go down, putting it to a 2-base, actually a 3-base Protoss to a 2-base Zerg, which is very, very scary for the Zerg player. Some Zerglings getting caught a little bit off guard. Ooh, oh no. Walking by once again, so the Stalkers can pick off a few more. And Obsidian got a Nexus out of this. He got a 3rd base. This is going to be very good for him. He can keep this watchtower here and spot when an army is coming to try to take his Nexus down. He also has his front of his natural pretty well protected with 2 Stalkers here. just kind of on hold position, and look at this, some Zerglings coming in at this time, but wow, some force fields going down, not doing too much, as well as some Mutas coming in, but a lot of Stalkers blinking forward, and oh man, picking off 2 of those Mutalisks and getting 1 down into the red. This is so bad for our Zerg player. He really needs a 3rd base up mining gas so he can afford to get the Muta play. Mutalisks are very gas heavy units, and in small numbers they do nothing to this blink Stalker heavy sentry force. Obsidian is doing some very good things, putting down some photon cannons just to make sure if he is away from his base, he doesn't have to warp in units on the fly. They will be able to deal with the Mutalisk play. However, he is building some gateways kind of to the side, and this is kind of risky, even though he has 2 pylons here to protect these gateways. These Mutas could swoop in and take them out very easily. As we can see, they are coming in right now, doing a lot of damage. We'll have to see how Obsidian responds, whether or not he morphs in, or warps in, excuse me, some Stalkers to deal with it. But it looks like he's not. One of the pylons going down. The second one hasn't taken any damage yet. It looks like he's swinging back, and now he's going to try to get into the probe line. This could be so bad for Obsidian, losing a lot of probes here. Oof. This is not good. 7, 8 probes killed so far. 10 now, 11, 12. Obsidian really needs to deal with this. He's running his probes away now and sending his Stalkers in to deal with this. But man, a lot of the damage has been done. And now we can see Obsidian is going for a High Templar force. He already has Storm up. This could be so huge as Mutalisks tend to clump, as we can see right here, very easily. And 1 Storm could do a ton of damage. But Roach is continuing to make use of his Mutas, which is the proper choice in this situation. He's coming in, trying to pick off pylons. This is such an annoying thing to deal with as a Protoss player. He's putting his pylons behind his gateways, which is the better choice. And he's probably going to warp in some Stalkers in his base. Yes, indeed, we do have 3 here already to deal with this Mutalisk force. They probably won't be able to take out all 6 of these Mutas, but they can do a bit of damage and buy some time for these gateways to finish so that he can warp in a few more Stalkers. In fact, we see all the Stalkers going down at this time. And now the Mutas, see, they have to move in closer to the pylons in order to reach them, and with that, these Stalkers are able to do a lot of damage, picking one of them off. In the meantime, Obsidian moving forward again, blinking even onto the high ground. Such a smart choice. The Zerglings won't be able to get to them. And look at this, a lot of High Templar, and we can see most of them have Storm. The Mutalisk coming in at this time. This could be the final engagement. We'll see the Storm's going down, a pretty decent Storm, doing a lot of damage to the Roaches. Oh man, this is looking so bad for our KU player, as the Northwestern player is coming in and doing a lot of damage. The units tab, we see there isn't much in the way. Only 5 Mutalisks for the Zerg player, 4 now. He doesn't have enough to deal with this army. The Archon's getting into the base, doing a lot of damage to the Overlords, but won't supply block Roach at any time. Some Zerglings are going to pop now at this time, but man, I don't see what they're able to do. Obsidian has got himself in a nice little position, and there's the GG by Roach. Obsidian winning the game for Team Northwestern. Now, this was in a replay pack, so it was a best of, I believe a best of 5. And I think this was game 2 or 3, something like that. So if you guys are interested in more CSL action, please go to cstarleague.com. They're just a fantastic website and a fantastic organization that takes StarCraft and brings it to the collegiate level, the college university level. And this means a lot to me as a lover of esports, because I am a sophomore in college, so I'm just getting into the college scene really. And I had a fantastic first year, and I very much support anything college, anything university. I'd love to see K-State get a team on the CSL. I might try to push for that next year. But anyway, yeah, this was my cast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, I am Cadoink. Please comment below. And yeah, I will see you guys later.